Let's turn the clock back again. Further this time. Not 100 years, but two. All the way to 1826. If 1926 felt like another world, then 1826 is another world again. Step outside, and almost everything you know is simply gone. So settle in and drift back with me. 2 centuries into the flicker of candlelight and the smell of wood smoke. The same rivers still run. The same hills still stand. But the people who live here are about to surprise you. There are no machines humming in the background, no wires overhead. The loudest sound in the street is a horse. This is Europe, 200 years ago. Let's take a look around. It's morning, and the house is dark and cold. There's no switch to flick. Electric light won't exist for another 50 years. To see it all, you need fire. And making fire is a small, patient battle. There are no matches yet. You strike a piece of steel against flint, catching a spark on a scrap of dry tinder, and coax it gently into a flame. It can take a minute, or 5, of striking and blowing before anything catches. On a damp morning, longer still. So the fire in the hearth is precious. If it goes out overnight, someone has to start the whole battle again. Light comes from tallow candles that smoke and smell, or a simple rushlight, a reed dipped in fat, burning for barely an hour. Candles cost money, so when the sun goes down, most families go to bed not long after. You live by daylight. And the streets. A few grand cities have new gas lamps glowing here and there. Everywhere else, night is genuinely dark. The heart of the home is the open hearth. You cook over the fire itself, with a pot hung from an iron hook, swung in over the flames. There's no oven as we'd know it, no range in most homes, just fire, smoke, and endless tending. Water doesn't come to you. You fetch it, bucket by bucket, from a well, a pump, or the nearest stream. And that water isn't always clean. So many drink weak ale instead, even the children, because it's safer than the water. There's no bathroom. You wash from a basin when you must, and a full bath is a rare thing indeed. The toilet is a privy in the yard, or simply a pot, and at night, someone has to empty it in the morning. Keeping food is a constant craft, salting the meat, smoking the fish, pickling and drying whatever you can, because nothing keeps by itself. The rich have an ice house buried in the garden, packed with winter ice. Everyone else races the rot day by day. Most people live and work on the land. The day is set by the sun, the seasons, and the animals. The plow is pulled by horses or a patient pair of oxen. Almost everything is done by hand, and the work is hard. But something new is stirring. In the towns, great mills are rising, powered by water and by coal-fired steam. Inside them, machines spin and weave faster than any hand ever could, and the world is beginning to change forever. And working those machines, for long and dangerous hours, are children, some no older than 8 or 9. For many families, a child's wage isn't extra. It's the difference between eating and going hungry. At home, cloth is still spun on the wheel and stitched by hand. Nothing is bought ready-made. A shirt is a small labor of love. There are no weekends, no holidays as we know them. You work while there's light, 6 days a week, and rest on Sunday. A servant, a laborer, a maid. For most, the future holds the same work their parents did, and their grandparents before them. To travel, first of all, you walk. Most people will never go more than a few miles from where they were born. For goods and for distance, the horse is king, on its back, or pulling a cart down deeply rutted muddy roads. The fastest thing on land is the mail coach, a team of galloping horses thundering along at perhaps 10 miles an hour. It's the marvel of the age. To catch it, you stand at the coaching inn and hope there's a seat. Heavy goods go by water. Slow canal boats, pulled by a single plodding horse on the towpath, carry coal and grain across the country. And to cross the sea, you trust the wind. Tall sailing ships, at the mercy of the weather, take weeks to reach another shore. There are no engines in the sky, on the sea, or on the road, only muscle, wind, and water. But listen closely, because history is turning. Just last year, the world's very first public steam railway opened its line, a machine that pulls itself and carriages full of people, with fire and boiling water. Almost no one has seen it yet. In a few short decades it will remake the world. But in 1826, it is a rumor, a wonder, a glimpse of the future. To reach someone far away, you write a letter, with a quill pen cut from a feather, dipped in ink by candlelight. You fold it, drip hot wax, and press your seal. There are no envelopes yet. The paper is its own envelope. Then it travels by coach for days. And here's the strange part. Usually the person receiving it has to pay. The cost depends on the distance and the number of sheets, so a long letter from far away could cost a whole day's wage. There is no telegraph, no telephone, nothing instant. News moves exactly as fast as a horse can carry it. In the towns, the town crier still walks the streets, ringing his bell, calling out the news aloud for those who cannot read. Because many people can't read at all. A signature is often just a cross, marked carefully on the page. Word of a distant war, a new king, a great disaster. It can take days or weeks to arrive, and arrives changed by every mouth it passed. Newspapers exist, but they're taxed and expensive, so one copy is read aloud in the tavern, or passed from hand to hand until it falls apart. Books are treasures. A family might own one or two, very often a Bible, read again and again by the fire. For those with a little money, a circulating library lends novels for a fee, and reading aloud is an evening's entertainment. School is not for everyone. A village dame school teaches a few letters for a few pennies, and Sunday school teaches reading from Scripture. The wealthy have private tutors and grand libraries. The poor have the world itself, and whatever a parent can pass on. Knowledge travels slowly, in ink and in speech, and a clever child's whole future can turn on whether anyone teaches them to read. It's a world held together by memory, by talk, and by the printed page, and there is not a screen in sight. Food is plain, and it depends entirely on the season and the harvest. A bad harvest means a hungry winter. Bread is the heart of every meal, with potatoes, cheese, and whatever the garden gives. Meat, for most, is a Sunday luxury. There are no tins, no packets, no shops full of choice. You buy from the market, the miller, and the baker, or you grow it yourself. Tea and sugar are dear treats, sweet and exotic. Coffee houses buzz in the cities, but at home, small beer is the everyday drink. Spices that once cost a fortune now flavor the tables of the comfortable. Pepper, cinnamon, and nutmeg carried across the oceans. There's no way to keep milk fresh for long, so the dairy is a daily round, and butter and cheese are made by hand at home, and every scrap is used. In a world this close to hunger, nothing edible is ever thrown away. Now, a gentle warning. Medicine in 1826 is a frightening thing. There are no antibiotics, no anesthetics, and no idea that germs exist. When you fall ill, the doctor may decide the cure is to remove some of your blood, with a knife or with leeches. It rarely helps, and often harms, but bleeding a patient is one of the oldest and most trusted remedies there is. The apothecary mixes powders and tinctures by hand, some soothing, some useless, and a few quietly dangerous. If you need surgery, it is done fast, and you are wide awake. The best a surgeon can offer is speed and a strong drink. A simple toothache can mean the tooth is pulled on the spot. A small wound can turn deadly with no way to stop it. Childbirth is dangerous, for mother and baby alike, and many children never see their 5th birthday. So people treasure the years they have. A life is often shorter here, and lived, perhaps, all the more fully for it. Even time itself is different. There is no standard clock for the whole country. Each town keeps its own, set by the sun overhead. So noon in one city is a few minutes off from noon in the next, and nobody minds, because nothing yet moves fast enough to care. You tell the hour by the church bell, by a sundial, or, if you're fortunate, by a pocket watch on a chain, a small fortune in itself. Money is coins you can hold, gold sovereigns, silver shillings, and copper pennies, weighed and trusted in the hand. There are no plastic cards, no banks for ordinary folk. You keep your savings hidden at home, in a jar, a box, or under the bed. Prices are steady enough that you know them by heart, and a single coin can mean bread on the table for another day. It is a slower, quieter, harder world, measured in daylight, in seasons, and in the distance a horse can walk. And yet, 1826 is not asleep. In quiet workshops, the future is being invented, one small spark at a time. This very year, a chemist mixes the first friction match, a little stick that bursts into flame when you strike it. The long battle with flint and tinder is nearly over. In a sunlit room in France, an inventor captures the world's very first photograph, a blurry rooftop view held still forever. The age of the image is beginning. On a new iron railway, steam engines are already hauling their loads, the first heartbeat of the machines that will reshape everything. The great wars that tore Europe apart ended just 11 years ago, and the emperor who led them died only 5 years past. The continent is catching its breath. Britain has outlawed the slave trade across the sea, though slavery itself still casts its long, painful shadow over the wider world. New universities are opening their doors, and new ideas about science, about rights, about who the future belongs to, are spreading fast. 1826 stands on a hinge of history, 1 foot in the old world of candle and horse, and 1 foot stepping into the age of steam. As night comes, the last candles are snuffed to save them, and the household settles into a darkness we can barely imagine. Outside, the sky blazes with stars, undimmed by any electric glow, and the only sounds are the wind, an owl, and the settling of the fire. And still, in that firelit dark, people told stories and sang, and fell in love, and worried, and hoped, exactly as we do. The very same hearts as ours, beating 200 years ago, under a sky full of stars. That was Europe, 2 centuries back. Older, harder, darker, and yet, somehow, deeply familiar. Next time, we'll turn the clock back once more, another 100 years, to 1726, where even more of the world we know melts away. But that's a journey for another time. Thanks for traveling back with me, traveler, and we'll rewind again soon.